so racist, they're so racist. Some of that he went through was not racism. It was just some in-law. Sometimes it's just some in-law.
Everyone thinks marrying a prince is like a fairy tale. Turns out it's not. Meghan Markle said that when she joined the royal family, they took away her passport, driver's license, and keys. Welcome to the royal family. Please remove your belt and get ready for a cavity search. And her husband, Harry, made a number of startling accusations.
When Chris Rock stepped onto that Netflix stage, Meghan Markle probably should have cut the Wi-Fi and disappeared somewhere offline, because things spiraled fast.
That's like marrying into the Budweiser family and going, they drink a lot.
And just when it seemed like the heat might cool down, Jimmy Kimmel was right there, ready to push it even further. What started as a comedy set quickly turned into something way messier, louder, and impossible to ignore.
It was just some in-law. So she's complaining. I'm like, what the is she talking about? Oprah, they're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby was gonna be. They're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Because even black people wanna know how brown the baby goes.
By the time Hollywood finished taking its shots, the so-called fairy tale had fully morphed into a no-mercy comedy roast. What followed wasn't subtle, and it definitely wasn't gentle. What you're about to hear had people shaking their heads in disbelief.
That's what triggered into his bit on Meghan. He did a couple other little bits in between, but here is when Meghan comes into play. Oh, sorry, wait, it's this clip.
Today, we're breaking down how two of the biggest comedians in America publicly tore apart Meghan Markle's long-running victim narrative on live television. And let's be real, it did her absolutely no favors. Let's rewind for a second. March 2023, Netflix goes live with Chris Rock's stand-up special Selective Outrage, filmed at Baltimore's Hippodrome Theater.
Everybody trying to be a victim. Like, what's this girl, Meghan Markle? Seemed like a nice lady.
She did.
Just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light skin lottery?
No, I added those images.
Light skin lottery and still going on complaining. Acting all dumb like she don't know nothing. Going on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google these motherfuckers?
This is the biggest complaint she gets. You didn't Google these mother effers? How do you not Google these people? How do you not know the history of the royal family? And he's gonna lay into them even further.
This wasn't just another comedy night. This was Rock's first major appearance after the Oscar slap incident, and the entire world was locked in. Everyone knew he had things he'd been holding back. And then things got spicy. Rock wasn't firing shots at random celebrities just for laughs. He zeroed in on one very specific person, someone critics say had been playing the victim card for years, someone a lot of viewers were exhausted from hearing complain, Meghan Markle. Rock wasted zero time.
We check behind them ears. That's a scientific test. Because you got to see what kind of black child you gonna get. Is this a Steph Curry baby? Or a Draymond Green baby? That Draymond baby gonna have a hard life. I know what she going through. I know what Meghan Markle's going through. I know her dilemma. Black girl trying to be accepted by her white in-laws. Oh, it's hard.
It's hard, right? That's what he's trying to claim here, but not as hard as what, Chris?
It ain't as hard as a white girl trying to be accepted by her black in-laws. You bring a white girl home for Thanksgiving, your mama gonna say something. Your mama's like, why is there a social worker at the table?
He questioned how someone could marry into one of the most famous families on the planet and then claim they had no idea what they were walking into. The crowd was already cracking up, but it was obvious he was only getting started. Then came the Oprah interview, the 2021 sit-down that shook headlines everywhere. The one where Meghan and Harry made serious claims about the royal family, including concerns raised about their child's future appearance. That moment was framed as a massive turning point, but Rock flipped the whole thing upside down. He challenged the way those claims were presented and broke them down piece by piece. The reaction in the room was explosive. Why? Because Rock said out loud what many people had quietly been thinking.
Turns out it's not. Meghan Markle said that when she joined the royal family, they took away her passport, driver's license, and keys. Welcome to the royal family. Please remove your belt and get ready for a cavity search. And her husband, Harry, made a number of startling accusations. The governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, vigorously denied all of them. Just had a reflex today. Meghan said that at one point, things got so bad, she went to HR at Buckingham Palace for help, and they refused to help.
He pointed out that curiosity about a baby's appearance isn't automatically racism. He framed it as something people talk about across families and cultures every day. Then came the real jab. He mocked the whole "I didn't know" storyline, comparing marrying into the royal family to joining any powerful, famous family and acting shocked when things get complicated. The comparison hit hard. The laughter was nonstop. And right there, Meghan's carefully built narrative started cracking in real time. But Rock didn't stop there. He went after the constant complaints and the image of nonstop struggle. He described someone who won what he called the light-skinned lottery, married a prince, and lives with more privilege than nearly everyone on Earth.
For reasons that have yet to be explained, Meghan told Oprah that the palace decided before baby Archie was born that he wouldn't be prince, that he wouldn't be entitled to royal protection, and that they were concerned about how white the kid might not be.
So we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Yet somehow that same person still presents themselves as the ultimate victim. That's when everything exploded online. Clips went viral overnight. Social media lit up with debates, memes, and hot takes everywhere. Suddenly, people weren't just laughing, they were questioning everything. Viewers started asking, wait, are we being played? Even royal commentators admitted this moment hit hard for the Sussex brand. And once that door opened, the conversation was impossible to shut down. And here's the awkward part people don't like to mention. Netflix was the same platform that handed Harry and Meghan millions for their documentary series, which made everything that followed even more uncomfortable to watch.
Boy, no one delivers a what like Oprah, huh? And who can blame her? Imagine after centuries of inbreeding, all of a sudden these people are concerned about the color of a baby's skin. Prince Charles has the ears of a basset hound. They're worried about the skin. And by the way, they should hope that the kid looks more like Meghan than Harry. No offense, but I mean, Harry kind of looks like the guy who played Screech, may he rest in peace. Anyway, Oprah promised shocking revelations last night. Not only did she deliver them, no one was more shocked by what was shocking than Oprah was.
If you thought Chris Rock's moment was rough, Jimmy Kimmel was on a whole different level. This wasn't sudden either. Kimmel had been lining this up for years, and when the moment came, he didn't hesitate. Let's rewind to March 2021. The Oprah interview had just dropped, and the entire world was stunned. Meghan and Harry made explosive claims about the royal family, talked openly about mental health struggles, and pretty much burned every bridge they had left with the palace. Late-night TV had been quiet up to that point, and everyone was waiting to see who would speak first. That's when Jimmy Kimmel stepped in. He devoted his entire opening monologue to the interview, but unlike other shows that treated it gently, Kimmel went straight for the jugular.
I thought Meghan and Harry came across well. They seemed they seemed genuine, but there was one part of the interview that didn't ring true to me when Oprah asked if they've seen a certain Netflix show.
I'm thinking because I watched The Crown, okay? I watched The Crown. Do you all watch The Crown?
I've watched some of it. You've watched some of it?
I've watched some of it.
All right, nobody watches some of The Crown. Once you start The Crown, you finish The Crown, you're hooked. Harry said racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which things are bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from racism. It's like trying to get some peace and quiet at Chuck E. Cheese.
He labeled the interview the most shocking gender reveal party of all time, and the audience lost it immediately. The laughter came fast, but then Kimmel slowed things down for a moment. He addressed Meghan's claims about being silenced and said he believed her. The room went quiet. Then he flipped the switch and dropped a punchline so sharp people still talk about it years later. Kimmel pointed out the massive irony in Harry and Meghan saying they left England to escape racism, only to move to America. He paused and let that sink in. America, a country still openly dealing with racial issues that stretch back centuries. The logic didn't land, and Kimmel made sure everyone noticed. Then he shifted gears to the royal family's alleged concerns about baby Archie's skin tone. Instead of framing it as a shocking scandal, Kimmel twisted the angle completely. He joked about the royal family's long history of inbreeding and questioned why genetics suddenly became a concern now.
Funny that the royal palace has HR and it's just as unhelpful as HR every place else. They also told Oprah that they've been cut off financially. Oprah was like, sorry, I already gave out all my cars. I can't help you. Meghan claims she was silenced during her time in the UK, and after watching this last night, I have to say, I believe it.
There's a conversation with you
With Harry.
about how dark your baby is going to be?
Potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
Ooh.
And then came the moment that truly sent shockwaves through the studio. Kimmel went straight for Prince Harry's appearance. He compared Harry to Screech from Saved by the Bell, and the audience absolutely exploded. This wasn't a soft jab. It was Kimmel saying out loud what a lot of people had already joked about privately. His message was clear. Maybe the focus shouldn't be on Meghan at all. Maybe the real concern should be Harry's genes. Fast forward to January 2023. Prince Harry's memoir Spare hit shelves and shattered sales records overnight. The book spilled deeply personal stories, family drama, and details many people never expected to hear. Jimmy Kimmel saw an opening and took it immediately. He built an entire segment around Harry's own admission about using Princess Diana's lip cream on a frostbitten body part. Yes, that detail was actually in the book. Kimmel turned it into pure comedy. He even created a fake children's book called The Prince and the Penis, a parody of The Princess and the Pea.
Mama, that's Jackie. We've been married 9 years.
He goes on, I had to trim all this for you. We got 3 grandkids.
You know I'm playing, right, Jackie? Just give me time, give me time. Meghan Markle! I know the dilemma. Black girl trying to be accepted by her white in-laws. I'm like, hey, if you black and you want to be accepted by your white in-laws, then you need to marry a Kardashian.
The skit spread online like wildfire within hours. People couldn't believe how far Kimmel went. But that reaction proved the point. By then, Harry and Meghan weren't untouchable anymore. The sympathy had dried up. The benefit of the doubt was gone. Hollywood had officially stopped protecting them, and the gloves were completely off. By this point, the shift was impossible to ignore. What once felt like untouchable celebrity protection had completely vanished, and the tone around Meghan and Harry changed fast. Hollywood wasn't whispering anymore, it was laughing out loud. What made this moment hit even harder was how public it all became. Late-night jokes weren't hidden in comment sections or tabloids. They were happening right on major networks, in front of millions of viewers.
2, attention. Can't get enough attention. We used to want love. Now we just want likes. Posting up pathetic pictures. This is me eating sushi. Like me. Easiest way to get attention is to be a victim.
There you go. He said it. He said it, not me. He said it.
Everybody claims to be a victim. When the real victims need help, ain't nobody gonna be there to help them. And right now we live in a world where the emergency room is filled up with motherfuckers with paper cuts. Okay? Everybody trying to be a victim.
And once comedians smell blood in the water, they don't stop. Industry insiders started noticing something important. These jokes weren't just about laughs anymore. They were about credibility. The narrative that Harry and Meghan had carefully built was now being questioned openly, not by critics or commentators, but by entertainers who usually avoid serious backlash. What really set things off was repetition. Interview after interview, special after special, book after book. People began saying the same thing online. Didn't we already hear this? That fatigue became a goldmine for comedians. Instead of sympathy, audiences were rolling their eyes. Instead of outrage, people were laughing. That's a brutal place to land when your public image depends on being taken seriously. Even talk show hosts who once stayed neutral started throwing subtle jabs. Comments about privacy followed immediately by new public appearances. Jokes about stepping away from fame while signing massive media deals. The contradictions became impossible to ignore. And here's the real kicker. The jokes didn't come from nowhere. They worked because people recognized the patterns. Every punchline landed because the audience already felt it. Social media amplified everything. Clips spread faster than any official statement ever could. A single joke from a late-night monologue reached more people than carefully planned interviews ever did.
Wedding.
Meghan said that she and Harry actually got married 3 days before the royal wedding. Great, now I feel like a fool for waking up at 5 a.m. to watch two married people get married.
I was curious what they did with Harry and Meghan's wax figures, so I found a museum employee who's temporarily storing.
What was once framed as bravery started getting reframed as overexposure. Instead of being seen as controlled storytelling, it started looking like oversharing. And comedians thrive on moments like that. Behind the scenes, branding experts quietly admitted this was a problem. Comedy has a way of locking in public perception. Once someone becomes a punchline, reversing that image is incredibly hard. And that's exactly where Meghan and Harry found themselves. No dramatic music, no tearful interviews, just laughter echoing across studios and living rooms. This wasn't about cruelty, it was about culture shifting. When the audience stops clapping and starts laughing, the power dynamic changes instantly. By the time this phase hit, the message was loud and clear. Hollywood wasn't buying the story the same way anymore. And once that door closes, there's no easy way to reopen it. Kimmel didn't stop there. He went straight at Harry's ongoing victim mindset. Here's a prince, born into extreme wealth and privilege, using a best-selling memoir to complain about how hard his life has been. The irony was impossible to miss, and Kimmel leaned into it without hesitation. Now here's the part mainstream media rarely spells out. Chris Rock and Jimmy Kimmel didn't wake up one day and randomly decide to roast Meghan and Harry. This wasn't impulsive. It was a reaction to years of carefully planned public relations moves, highly staged interviews, and a growing pattern of presenting themselves as victims while collecting massive paychecks. Think about it for a second. Meghan and Harry signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix. Then they landed another huge deal with Spotify, which quietly wrapped up not long after.
Like, what's this girl, Meghan Markle? Seemed like a nice lady. Just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light-skin lottery?
You see the interview last night? Oprah returned with Meghan and Harry in what will surely go down in history as the most shocking gender reveal party of all time.
This is so amazing. So many of you here to see me, huh? I feel like Meghan Markle. This is dope.
Lot going on to the news. My God, it's so crazy out there. What's going on with Meghan Markle? She thinks that everybody is just stupid. Like we can't see that she is manipulating his dumb husband.
All of this happened while they repeatedly said they wanted privacy and peace. The contradiction became loud, and comedians whose job is calling out nonsense couldn't ignore it anymore. Chris Rock's special hit especially hard because it aired on Netflix itself. The same platform paying the Sussexes millions gave Rock a global stage. Royal commentators pointed out how painful that had to be. Harry and Meghan opened their lives to Netflix, and Netflix turned around and hosted a comedy special that openly mocked their narrative. Kimmel's strategy worked differently, but landed just as strong. He didn't do it once and move on. He kept circling back over months and even years. By doing that, he normalized the criticism. He made it acceptable to question the story without instantly being labeled hateful or unfair. And here's the real kicker. Both Rock and Kimmel are highly respected, wildly successful entertainers. When they speak, millions listen. When two people with that level of influence independently highlight the same issues, it sends a clear message. The impact of these comedy moments can't be brushed off. After Rock's special aired, public opinion started shifting fast. Polls showed their popularity dropping. Especially in the United States, where they once received the warmest support, people began re-examining everything. The claims, the constant interviews, the repeated complaints about privacy while staying in the spotlight, the victim framing while living in a luxury mansion. The message started to crack. Comedy has a unique power. It says what many people are already thinking but don't want to say out loud. Rock and Kimmel used that power perfectly. They didn't need long essays or dramatic documentaries. They simply pointed out the contradictions and trusted the audience to connect the dots. And the audience absolutely did. Social media lit up with support for the comedians. People weren't outraged, they were relieved. Many felt someone had finally said what they'd been noticing for years. What's even more telling is what didn't happen. There were no serious backlash campaigns, no mass calls for apologies, no attempts to shut them down. Why?
The biggest addiction in America is attention. We are addicted to attention. Can't get enough attention. We used to want love. Now we just want likes. Posting up pathetic pictures.
Because their jokes landed with the majority. That's how you know a public figure has lost control of the story. When comedians can roast you on national television and the crowd cheers instead of defending you, the narrative is gone. So what's the takeaway here? It's simple. You can't play the victim forever, especially when your actions don't match your words. You can't say you want privacy while signing massive deals for documentaries and memoirs. You can't demand unquestioned sympathy while putting every detail on display. Eventually, the world notices the gaps. Rock and Jimmy Kimmel did what great comedians always do. They held up a mirror and said, "Look closely." And when people looked, they didn't see a fairy tale anymore. Meghan Markle entered the royal family as a Hollywood success story and walked away as a warning sign. Thanks to Rock and Kimmel, millions of viewers saw exactly why that story fell apart. The comedy spotlight turned on, and from that moment on, Meghan and Harry weren't controlling the punchline anymore. What happened next might be the most revealing part of this entire saga. Instead of recalibrating or pulling back, Meghan and Harry doubled down on the same strategy that was already wearing thin. More appearances, more statements, more controlled storytelling, all while insisting they wanted distance from the spotlight. That move didn't land the way they expected. Public patience was already stretched, and each new project felt less like clarification and more like repetition. People weren't hearing new information anymore. They were hearing the same grievances dressed up in different packaging. And that's when the backlash quietly evolved into something worse than criticism: indifference. Late-night jokes started getting bigger reactions than official interviews. Comedy clips pulled more views than polished press releases. That's a dangerous shift for anyone trying to protect a public image. What really stood out was how predictable everything became. Announcement, interview, backlash, response, repeat. Audiences caught on fast. Once people can predict your next move, the mystery is gone. And without mystery, influence fades. Meanwhile, comedians kept sharpening their angles. Not repeating the same jokes, but highlighting new contradictions each time. The brand deals versus the privacy claims. The desire for calm paired with non-stop visibility. Each punchline built on the last. Hollywood insiders quietly admitted this was becoming a case study. Not in cruelty, but in overexposure. There's a fine line between sharing your truth and oversharing it. And once that line is crossed, it's almost impossible to walk back. What made it even harder to recover was the lack of self-awareness. Audiences can forgive mistakes, but they don't forgive tone deafness. When people struggling in their own lives hear complaints coming from extreme wealth, empathy disappears fast. Social media reflected that shift instantly. The comments changed tone. Where there was once defense, there was now sarcasm. Where there was once support, there were memes. And memes move faster than any PR team ever could. At this stage, it wasn't about the royal family anymore. It wasn't even about old interviews. It was about trust. People started asking whether anything being said was genuine or just part of another rollout. And here's the brutal truth. Once trust is questioned, everything else collapses. Every new message gets filtered through skepticism. Every appearance feels strategic instead of sincere. This is where comedians thrive. They don't need inside sources or leaked documents. They just reflect what the audience already feels. That's why the jokes kept landing harder and wider. By now, the power balance had fully shifted. Meghan and Harry weren't setting the narrative anymore. The public was. And comedians were simply amplifying it. What followed wasn't outrage or scandal, but something colder. Shrugs, eye rolls, laughter. And in the world of fame, that reaction is almost impossible to reverse. Once someone becomes a recurring punchline, every move feeds the joke. Silence looks suspicious. Speaking out looks defensive. Either way, the spotlight stays harsh. That's the real consequence no one warns you about. Not being criticized, but being laughed at. And once that happens on this scale, the story writes itself. The fairy tale didn't end with a scandal or a single interview. It ended slowly through repetition, contradiction, and exhaustion. And by the time everyone noticed, the audience had already moved on. If you watch this and have thoughts, drop them in the comments below. If this breakdown made you see things differently, hit subscribe and stay locked in for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see it.